Hey, this is Sonic from Astralis. You're listening to The Center Ring.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello, and welcome back to another edition of The Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast, episode 191, coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date, November 13th, 2019. The time, 5:36 p.m. Central Time. It's the big one, boys and girls. This is the best episode ever. We are finally doing our CDL branding tier list. We've been talking about it. We've been teasing it. No more. We bring it to you. This is the episode where we decide who will win the inaugural season of the Call of Duty League. Based off branding alone, very scientific. NASA has reached out to see if they could use it. Negotiating, we don't want to give it away for free. You know, we'll see. But very scientific. This is no joke. We got e-news, as always, to end the show. And to start, you know, it's one of my personal favorite segments, but we don't get to it very often, and that is the salt mine. So just our venting, we can be as salty as we want, right? And no one can, there is no rationale in the salt mine. So we'll start there. But before we do, make sure you follow the show at The Center Ring on Twitter. Our Discord is in the profile there. Also, our website, tcr.gg. You can follow all of our social medias from there. YouTube as well. If you listen on iTunes, please leave a review. Give us that 5-star rating if you feel like we deserve it. That would be greatly appreciated. Before we get into it, though, let's introduce the crew. Hello, my name is Tim. I will be your captain for this journey into esports. And alongside me, as always, my best friend, my brown friend, it's Anuj. What's up, buddy?
I've been waiting for this one for a while. I'm excited, dude. This is going to be a fun episode today.
And I am jazzed right now. The weather is beautiful outside. I feel like it should be snowing here in Dallas, but it's not.
What do you mean beautiful? Explain
I love it.
Beautiful to the listener.
I love this weather. I like the cold, man. I like the cold.
30 degrees, freezing, and no snow. It's like not fun weather.
It is perfect stay inside and rate Call of Duty League team branding type of weather.
That is true.
And I can't wait. We'll get into that, though, in a moment, because I also have some very exciting news for our listeners. If you've been listening to like the last 3 months, you know the story. Okay, I was, no spoilers, part of a Overwatch League, not Overwatch League, but an Overwatch beer league team. All right.
We could get fined
our name was
for what you just said.
What's that?
We could get fined for what you just said.
Well, I won't get fined. That's their problem. I can call it whatever I want. They just can't officially. But anyway, so it's called the Tranquility Community, not a league, because Overwatch and Blizzard slapped their hands and said you can't call this a league. It's got to be called a community or whatever. So whatever. That's besides the point. This also that kind of sets up though on how much of a joke they are. So I've been doing this league for like the last 3 months or so, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, roughly.
Not a fan of it. I haven't hid that on the show. I've made it very vocal, and even off of the show when I don't talk about it, Anuj can attest. After every match, I'm pretty much in our, exchanging text messages like, bro, this is awful. Awful. And so he's like, why don't you just quit? I was like, bro, I'm not a quitter. I'll finish out the season. Finally, last night, the Minty Hippos finally lost in the playoffs. Like, I didn't think we were going to make the playoffs, but then we went on like a 4-game winning streak, beat the number 2 team in the league. We were on fire. We finally lost yesterday in a game 7 or a map 7. And boy, I've never been happier to lose in my life, Anuj.
You're free.
I've never been happier. This
The
league,
handcuffs are off.
look, if you would join me in the salt mine, Anuj, because I need to just get salty for a second. I don't need people trying to reason with me. I don't need people to comfort me. I just want to get things off my chest right now. Now that I am done with this godforsaken league. All right? And I think
Tell us how you feel, Tim.
And I think anyone who has ever played in like Battlegrounds or Face It or any other league out there, right? And we've all done it. If we've all played competitive gaming, we've all gotten together with friends to do some of these online beer leagues, right? Whether or not you thought you were going pro from it. I mean, hell, when I played Rainbow Six, like that's kind of back in the day how you earned your pro points. Even in CWL, right? Pros had to play BGs. That's how you got your pro points. So we have all, I feel like, can relate to this. This league was ran by a monkeys is the best way I could describe it. Every freaking week, there were different rules that we would discover and get our hands slapped about. This should have all been a sign in the preseason. We played our preseason game. Immediately afterwards, got messaged by the admins, which, by the way, the admins also play in this league. Like, that's like flag number one.
Seems a little fishy when you say that.
Yes, when the admins of the league are also on teams of the league and all buddies with people in the league, okay, I won't say anything or whatever. Don't assume the worst. We'll move on. Sure, whatever. Well, then they have all these rules set up. Like, you have to show up to your match on time. If you're late, after so many minutes, you forfeit one round, and then you'll forfeit the map, and so on and so on and so on. For the first preseason game, we were like 3 minutes late. Like, I think we were just, lackadaisically getting into the room, whatever. They told us, hey, guys, we just want to let you know, if this was a real match, you'd be banned. Or you would forfeit. And we were like, just start the stupid thing. Like, shut up. No, please, don't get on to me about being 3 minutes late when we sit in between each map for like 10 minutes. So that should have been sign number one that this is a bunch of stiff.
So y'all were on the Optic Gaming schedule, like the scrim schedule, like show up whenever you want. Yeah, just
definitely.
Like walk into a match a few minutes late.
But see, the thing is that wasn't just us. That was just everyone. When you had a scrim or a practice, and that's part of my beef here, because as a father, Anuj, my time is pretty tight. Pretty damn tight. I don't have a whole lot of time for myself right now. So if our scrim is at 7, like, we gotta go at 7. None of this get on at 7 and kind of lackadaisical around. Then 7:30, they're like, okay, let's start it. I'm like, start? Like, I'm done. Like, I can do one map and I gotta bounce. What are you talking about? So I just wanted to tell the story about the preseason, because this league is a stickler for the rules when it benefits them.
Obviously.
So everyone knows I'm a pretty toxic player. I will admit to that. Some of our listeners have had the pleasure, the honor of playing with us in Modern Warfare. I think probably learned pretty quick, like, I rage, and I will definitely talk smack to the other team, and I will join you in talking smack. I have nothing against it. I think it's fun. Keep it reasonable. Like, don't tell someone to kill themselves.
Tim was born for the Call of Duty community.
Bro.
Like, that's the generation you're in.
Yes, exactly. Yes. My generation grew up, like, we were the first Xbox Live generation. So just take that with you on how my attitude is about multiplayer gaming. There is no handshake line at the end. That doesn't exist in my world. So obviously the first game, I start talking. I killed someone. I was playing 76, destroyed this pharmacy combo. Pharah, Mercy flying up in the air, dominate them. So I shoot their dead bodies. Just a little taste, like, hey, just remember what just happened, right?
Maybe
Boom.
even teabag a little.
Not even teabag. I didn't even teabag. I shot their dead bodies. Immediately afterwards, Anuj, I got a message from the admin saying, hey, You can't do that.
Can't do what? Shoot the bodies?
Yes. That is bad sportsmanship. If you do it again, we're going to have to suspend you for a game. I was like,
I'm surprised you
Jesus.
didn't go beyond that.
Like, Jesus. All right, fine. Whatever. Like, all right, sure. And then, so in the next game, I didn't do anything. I even muted the chat so I wouldn't even have to see the other teams talking. I was streaming in the privacy of my own stream, talking to my teammates. I proceeded to talk some smack about the other team. Immediately after that match, this was after week 2. So this is 3 weeks in a row now. Our team is getting talked to. 3 weeks in a row. The third week, they go, hey, we saw your stream. You were talking smack. It was kind of rude. I don't even remember. Oh, I said we need to just shove it down their throats.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yes.
I was actually watching this.
Yes. I think some of our viewers were too.
Yeah.
They said that's inappropriate. I was like, I don't think it means what you think it means, or maybe I don't think it means what you think it, like, I think that's a common, like, just ram it down their throats. I'm not talking about like taking, like, look, that's what their heads were going to. I think we can all paint the picture that if you think it's inappropriate, what it was just like a rally cry. I was doing it as a rally cry for my team. The troops needed to get around it. So they asked me to delete the VODs and whatever. So, okay, fine, whatever. So that was my first 3 weeks into this league. I was like, this is already a beatdown. This is already not fun. Like, I can already tell you people here are taking it a little too serious, a little too try-hardy, okay? This also proceeds throughout the season where, again, people are a little stickler for the rules, all right? When my son was born, he was born on Saturday. We got home on a Monday. On that Wednesday, I was being a good team player. My wife was being cool and said, go play your match. She's like, I know you're a hard carry. Go play your match. She definitely did not say that. She does not know what a hard carry is. So I went and played this match. Midway through, Shep, my son, having a fit. We're 4-day-old parents. We don't know what the hell we're doing. She comes into my office and says, I need backup. Like, I'm calling in for support. And I'm like, done. I got to go, guys. Like, you know, I was there to play, but I'm also not going to, like, priorities. You know, I'm not a bad dad. I'll leave the game to go take care of my newborn son. Well, I told TJ, I was like, look, we have subs. Call for a sub. I got to go. So I just Alt F4'd so the game would pause on the league, and boom, done. I'm gone. I come back later that night, tell TJ, yo, what happened? How'd it go? Because we were doing pretty good. He goes, the other team said, no, we couldn't sub in. It's against the rules.
What's a sub for then?
Thank you. What is the sub for, Anuj? What is the sub for?
What did they say? You can't do it mid-game?
Can't do it.
What?
Can't do it mid-game. Can't do it mid-map.
Bro, who's running this league?
So they had to play 6v5, and we ended up losing it.
Obviously.
Yeah, all right, 6v5 in Overwatch. Good luck. So that proceeds then, again, just how this league runs, right? They call it like a fun community, and yet they're a bunch of circle jerk and tryhards. Not a bad team name, by the way. If anyone wants to use that name, you're more than welcome to. So then a couple weeks ago, our buddy TJ has a dog, rambunctious, going ape shit at something outside. TJ's like, I got to pause it. I got to go see what the hell's going on outside. Asks the other team who's hosting it, hey, we need a pause real quick. Which you get 6 minutes worth of pauses throughout the match, right? After 6 minutes of pause, this includes disconnect time. You just got to start it, right? Whether you're down 5 guys or whatever, you got to start it. The other team, no. You can't pause it in the middle of the match. It kills momentum.
Are you allowed to pause in the middle of a match?
Yes, you are, Anuj. But they said no. They were the host. We couldn't do anything. They said, no, it's against the rules. And then afterwards, we looked at the rules and we're like, no, it clearly says here you can pause. Like, you can clearly take a pause if you need it. So this all comes back to throughout the season. This is a common theme, right? Where it reminds me of like when we played in BGs, where anytime you won in a Battlegrounds, did someone always dispute that win?
Every time.
Every
I think you were supposed to, right?
time.
Wasn't that like part of it?
It was almost like as you were playing the game, you were like, all right, guys, we're going to win this. How are we going to prove? Because back then, like, streaming and video capturing wasn't that easy.
Everyone's taking out cell phones to take pictures.
Yeah, cell phone pictures or whatever on like a Razor back then, right? It was like, how are we going to prove that we won this game? Because it's going to absolutely be disputed that we cheated or we used a standby switch to cause hosting advantage, or they're going to come back with something, right? It always happens. And it's just like, it's the same damn thing in this league, the Tranquility community. You're a bunch of jokes. You're a bunch of tryhards. You got to find a hobby or just enjoy circle jerking each other. That's really all I got to say. Last night in our playoff game, okay, they had connection issues. This was the same team we played last week. The last game of the season also had connection issues last week. We never make a big fuss about it. No big deal. Last night, I shit you not, Anuj, we were on like a 15-minute pause because their guy couldn't get his game working and connecting.
But
like
you're
that,
good human beings, so you like.
But TJ, our team captain, who, I respect the captain chair. He's the one making the shots. I don't agree with it, right? Like me, I'm like, 6 minutes is up, bro. Like, roll it. Go. Yeah. Like, I got things to do. This is already a best of 7 match. So we wait. They finally started after like 20 minutes of pause time. Like, there's no way they should have gotten that. This was being streamed, by the way, which, admins were watching. Like, admins should have been like, this has got to go.
Stepped in,
this has got to go. So nothing was said. We finally started 6v5. We won the map. No big deal. After the map, they go, hey, do you mind if we get a sub? Which, again, me and some of our teammates said, no way. Don't give them the sub. Don't let them take in someone who's not on their roster, right? Like, they're asking for a sub that's not on their roster. Like, they're just, hey, we need someone to play right now. Can we grab someone? TJ, again, being the nice guy that he is, says, yeah, go for it, because he's like, I don't want to win that way. I don't want to win 6v5, which we told TJ, what are you talking about? We lost 6v5 earlier. Again, I don't really care. I wanted to be done with this league. I was very happy that we're done with it. I got banned from the Discord instantly after the game, so that just tells you. So, fast forward, we ended up losing. The sub they got was an admin of the league. So that's funny. When we were told earlier in the season you couldn't sub in players, well, now the admin can sub in for you?
And not on the roster.
And not on the roster. Not on their roster, by the way. So this all just builds up and builds up to more and more controversy. We lose. I'm so excited about it. Long story short, I get in their Discord. I say, ban me. I'm done with this. They go, oh, no, Peach Room, we like you, man. No problem, blah, blah, blah. Man, hey, you guys are so cool for letting them sub in, their 6-player, and that's just what this community is about, man. Everyone would have done that. It's great. And I said, 100% incorrect. This community is a joke. You're just a bunch of circle jerkers who like to pat yourselves on the back. Boom. Banned.
Done.
Like, I wasn't kidding when I said ban me. I'm done with you. Look, and this is, if anyone who is an admin in Tranquility listens to this, nothing personal, but you suck. Like,
but nothing personal.
You guys are great, but you suck, because it is ran shoddily. There's a different rule set depending on what team you're playing. And this is just like, they act like they're like some official sanctioned thing. Bro, no one cares about your community. Like, you are a beer league community. Blizzard doesn't even care about Contenders League. Why are you trying to be tryhards right now? Like, let people just have fun.
The no fun league.
It really,
NFL policies here.
It really is. And I know, like, you've competed in Counter-Strike. I'm sure there's been times where it's just like, this is a beating.
Here's the differences in my experiences, Tim. Most of my hatred comes from the fact that we just sucked when we thought we were really good. You know, we competed in Cal O, which for
That definitely
those that don't
happens, though,
remember
too.
what that is, like this was Cyber Athlete Amateur League is what that stood for at the time. They had CPL, which is where the professionals played. And it started off in O, anybody could register. Then there was like IM, M, and then I for invite. And I had got a chance to sub in at higher level games. I was one of the better players on my team at the time. I had a bunch
Not
of
a big
friends that I
deal.
played with. No big deal. I thought I was so good though, Tim. I thought I was like a special
Bro,
player. I was gifted in Counter Strike. It
we
all
always
felt
do.
good.
We
But
always think
then
we're
you go
better.
and play. And man, this is like back in the day, Tim. This is when we like, you know, we don't have all the tools that we have now to like run scrims. We were literally using Microsoft Paint back then to like draw out,
Bro,
hey, this
I
is
remember
where
we
you're gonna
printed them
be.
out and then stuck them in sleeves so we could draw on the
Yeah,
map.
this is like what we're doing. We're doing this on Microsoft Paint though. We used to like get the image, put it on there, and then literally, hey, you throw your smoke over here, this way. No, it was always brutal. We advanced through O for one season. We played in IM, didn't win a match. I had subbed into, and what was that tool that people used to use? It was like a chat tool only, and you could join like 100 different
Like
channels on there.
IRC?
IRC, that's what it was. And so we would all
That's
be
what you
in
did back in the
IRC.
day for Halo PC or like Halo Classic if you wanted
It's
to
how
find
we
it.
found our games, you know, we
Yeah.
how we found our scrims was all through that. I remember subbing in for a main game one time, feeling so good. I mean, talking so much shit to my friends like, "Bro, I got picked up by a main team to come and sub in. This is gonna be the best experience ever. I'm done with y'all. I'm done with you guys. I'm moving on. I'm going to the next level." Yeah, that ended real quick once they saw that I was not main material, and I realized it pretty fast
Oh
myself.
my
So,
god. Well, it's like when
um
we go to these DreamHack, right? We're like, oh, let's do the Counter-Strike BYOC. We'll have fun. We get wiped every
annihilated.
time. Every time.
Nowadays, though, it's a difference of like we just don't we don't play to
have fun.
practice,
Look,
right?
and I
We
think
play to
that's
have
also
fun now.
like this. I learned a lot about myself, and I'm not the only one. Like people might think like, oh, Tim, you're just being salty, right? Like this is just you venting because you guys lost. We made playoffs, like, and I know earlier in the season I complained about the 13-year-old on our team. He ended up being really cool. He was really chill at the end. I think once I yelled at him, like once I told him to chill, he kind of chilled.
He was like, yes,
yeah.
Dad.
Right. But, you know, I loved all my teammates. I would go play comp with them any night of the week. And I'm not the only, like, even Brett, former host of the show, RIP, was on the team. And he even said, like, this was miserable. Like, we've never had less fun playing together or doing Overwatch than doing this league because you get on, you'd think the match would be like an hour, hour and a half. It ends up being 2+ hours because people disconnect. They're supposed to be forfeiting, but they're not. And then there's halftime. Why the do we have halftime? Like
10-minute halftime.
a 10-minute halftime. Like guys, come on, you'll sit here and play for 12 hours a day and not get up once. Now you need a halftime? Give me a break. It's just it was a miserable experience playing with that. And you know, maybe I've learned a little bit about myself too. The fact that I'm 29, I got a kid, I'm married. I'm just past the point where it's like I want to win and I want to try hard, but I don't want to try. If
I don't
want
to put in the work. I would never join a league again, even with friends. It's not.
It's a beating, dude. To play
we
on a
don't-
schedule like that is
Yeah.
awful.
Well, because again, if you're not practicing and you're just playing, it's going to be a bad experience because you're probably not going to win, right? Like if there's,
Yeah.
you know, we all have a certain level of chemistry because of the amount we've all played together, but still very different from going into a server
I'm
practicing.
okay. Look,
You know,
dude,
like
we've turned that corner. We're pug stars. That's what
we're podcasters.
we're podcast. Yeah, there's a reason we talk about games now, right?
Yeah, we like
But
to
we're just
talk
pug
about
stars.
them.
You want me to drop in a match in Counter-Strike? Yeah, you know, I could top frag, no problem. You want me to drop into an organized match of Counter-Strike? Bro, I'm bottom fragging every day. You want me to throw a certain smoke? I'll be like, look, I can throw this one. I don't know where it lands, though. I've just seen the pros look at this corner and throw a smoke, so I do
Like,
it now.
If I aim at this cloud in the sky on a 128 tick server, it's not going to do the same thing it does on the pleb crap that I'm playing on right now. So
Right.
again, I've learned that with my 5 years of extra wisdom that I have on you,
That's right.
that this is not that's not the life I was able to live. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
I feel like it
found
was
the little
my
successes
gaming
here and there.
It was my gaming midlife crisis. Like I learned like, oh, I don't like doing this anymore. I'll just go back to
No,
playing regular pickup game comps with friends and stuff. But maybe if I were single, sure, why not, right?
bro, that's a different world.
Yeah, like if I'm
That's a
single,
world we will not know anymore.
yo, Overwatch League sign me up, right? Like I'd be pro next week if I were single at the amount of hours I could put in. But dude, it was rough. It was rough. And I appreciate the listeners for bearing with that salt mine rant, but man, and I know we have some listeners who play in BGs, and I'm sure they still I'm sure from 15 years ago when I did it, I'm sure that shit still happens today where teams
Oh yeah.
dispute every win. Like 100%. Like that's just what happens. All right. Are you ready for this?
Now let's talk about the big boy leagues.
Let's get into the real business of the show. Before we do, let me tell you about Thrive. Thrive Fantasy is your daily fantasy sports app for prop bets. That's THRIVE Fantasy. You look it up on your app store. You download it, make an account, use TCR for your sign-up code. You will get an instant $10 match on your first $10. You will walk away with 20. You bet responsibly. You make money. Easy peasy. That's exactly how betting works.
Let us know your success stories. If some of you guys are winning out there, we know y'all are signing up. We see the signups on there. So if you're winning, losing, I want to know. I'm kind of curious. Like I need some betting advice. I've been on a tough run myself. So yeah, let us know how it's going for y'all. I hope everyone's winning a little bit of dough and having some fun while doing it.
All right. Let's get into this, Anuj. Let's get into our Call of Duty League branding. Let me switch over to the proper browsing tab. All right, we are streaming this live on Twitch and everything there. We'll put it up also on YouTube if you care about looking at it. But right now, this is how it's going to break down. There are going to be some rules to our Call of Duty League branding tier list for the sake of it, because we're only doing one. Like me and Anuj don't have our own, and then combining it, we're going to talk about this out loud. We're going to go through it. First, we're going to go through it alphabetical. That's exactly how the site has it set up. So we figured, why not? Just go through it alphabetical. We're not playing favorites here. We're not going to start with the best or anything like that. Just going with how they're laying. So there's that. If you are in the chat and you have an opinion, any type of, disagreement, maybe your opinion will be the deal breaker or whatever, right? The decision maker. So there's that. If me and Anuj disagree on one, we'll be adults and talk it out, right? So that's exactly how it's going, right, Anuj?
Of course, that's how we do it.
I feel like that's it. Or if we really disagree, Anuj will just get kicked off the show, and I go with my opinion.
Bring Brett back.
bring Brett back, and this will be a week-long episode. All right, so let's get with it, Anuj. The first team for the Call of Duty tier list branding, Atlanta FaZe.
FaZe up, baby.
FaZe up. Of course,
Almost.
somehow FaZe being the one org that did not buy into the league and somehow still managed to be in the league. They found a loophole and somehow
And saved $20 million at the same time.
saved $20 million.
I say that's a win.
Dude, if this was a Call of Duty business tier list, FaZe would be S tier, no doubt. Because somehow they suckered the league into thinking this was okay. Like, this wasn't breaking the rules. But maybe the league realized that they kind of need FaZe in here as well. So this was a nice way, or kind of a win-win for both teams. They got their money. FaZe is still in it. What is your first initial reaction looking at the brand?
I feel like it's going to be different than yours right now, Tim. I really like the Atlanta FaZe logo. I love how they incorporated the actual
AF.
FaZe logo
Yep.
with obviously the A being part of it and kind of like
Stylized
keeping
like
a
it.
very like clean look, and it doesn't distract too much from, like, it's not just FaZe, although it obviously is like a big part of the logo. I like it. I think it's a really clean look. I think it's something that would look good on merch. I think the FaZe logo is like a cool logo in general. Like I see why they're popular, right? Like they appeal to certain crowds, and I think it's a clean look. And then that's also me knowing the other logos, right? Like I know all the logos here. It's not like
Yeah, it
I
would be
can just
interesting if
isolate this
somehow
one,
it would be cool like if we somehow managed to avoid all of them,
like
right?
not see any
This
of
was
them. So
raw emotion because obviously I've had opinions
for
throughout.
me, Tim, I'm going to tell you where I would put this logo. Okay. I would make this an A tier logo. For
A
me, it's
tier.
an A tier logo. I don't say S tier because for me, I'm counting originality in it. And
Absolutely.
because there is a pre existing, the FaZe logo is in there, I don't want to give it S tier for that reason. It's not
Because it's been
overly
around.
original, but I think it looks really good. Like
Yeah.
I would rock
I will
an
say
Atlanta
too,
FaZe shirt.
one other rule to this that I forgot to mention at the start is none of this is set in stone, people. All right? We could put FaZe at A right now, but by the end they could drop down to B or C. They could go up to S. It just depends on how we're feeling as it's going along, all right? So don't freak out. Don't freak out. Little background here. Obviously, Atlanta FaZe, we mentioned, partnered with FaZe Clan. All right. Not much of a story there. FaZe Clan, I'm looking after their website right now. FaZe Clan has unparalleled brand recognition within the gaming and lifestyle space. Also brings a decade of loyal fans rooted in Call of Duty. Like
Ultra.
Anuj said, I will agree with you. It's a clean looking logo. I like the fact that it's not just the FaZe Clan logo. I felt
Yeah.
like they easily could have done that. They easily could have walked away and just said, FaZe, done, right? But what it looks to me, it looks a little similar to the Nazi symbol from Castle Wolfenstein.
Oh, gotta be careful with what you're showing.
I'm gonna show it right here. It's okay. I mean, it's a video game. It's Castle Wolfenstein. It's okay. Oops. Trying to do this where the stream could see it. All right, there we go. So it looks a little bit like that.
I see where you're going with this.
A little bit like that. And for me, I don't hate the A spot.
And
But
you like the
because
Nazi logo.
Because it gives me Nazi vibes, I would have to put it at B just for that alone, out of principle. And I agree too. Originality does play a part in this. Zen in Twitch chat goes, FaZe Reich. I kid. Though you're not far off. You're not far
Okay,
off.
we can start them off at B and see where they
It
stack.
could
with the
go
others.
up to A. Right, yeah.
Well,
Obviously
neither
we'll
of
see
us
where
are
it
a
stacks up.
fan of Nazis, so I'm willing
Now,
to drop it
if
down.
they go
a
to
notch.
A, Anuj supports Nazis.
If
Can
they
we
go to
agree?
S,
Can we agree with that? If they're
Go B.
A, you are
and
part of
you're
the
just a
Nazi
Nazi
party.
supporter. That's fine.
Okay, so they're B. Or are they A, Anuj?
Again,
would you like to
knowing the
tell us
other
something?
ones, I put them at A, but I can live with the B because of the Nazi propaganda associated with it.
Okay,
I
All
can
right.
live with the B.
we will stick to B for now.
All right.
All right. Number 2. Almost doesn't seem fair to do this one so early on. Chicago Huntsman, aka Optic 2.0. Obviously, Hex is part of this ownership, and our G brought him on as a co-CEO, just like that. Skip the interview. Don't show your resume. You are CEO. A lot of expectation going in on this one. Of course, Hex being the brainstorm behind Optic. He created everything. Look, the expectations were so high on this because the fan base is already there. I don't want let's just get into some of this here, okay? Because I don't want to judge. I don't want to judge too hard. On Call of Duty's website, you can click on it. They'll tell you the history of the team, and then normally there's a spot telling you about the logo. Now, Anuj, the only team on here that doesn't have the about the logo section would be Chicago Huntsman, which doesn't bode well considering when this logo was revealed, it got extreme backlash from the fan base, from the community. I haven't spoken to one person that likes it.
It's ugly. I mean, it's like, first of all, it's important to know that the TCR curse does carry over from Optic to the Huntsman. Okay. The TCR
Absolutely.
curse is associated with Hex as well. Hex being part of obviously the Chicago Huntsman. This shows the curse is real. I mean, there is no reason they could not have had a better logo than this. For me, it's like a really basic design. And like, I love the city of Chicago. Okay. I have family in Chicago. I've traveled to
Good
Chicago
food.
20 plus times in my life. I have nothing against Chicago. I
Bad
have
football
everything.
team. Bad
Bad
hockey
football
team.
team. But they're the home of Michael Jordan, like in Wrigley Field. Like two things I very much
Space
love.
Jam.
Space Jam. But for me, this logo is butt ugly. Like, I just don't like it. I don't like it on merch. I think it.
That's a
I
that's a
just don't
good
think
point.
it like.
So when I think of this, I do think, how would this look? And I kind of did this with the TCR, right? When we like started designing the TCR logo, is how would this look on merch? Which I feel like that's kind of what Hex's mindset was always. Like, how would this look like fitting in other situations other than just a logo, right? How would this look like on a hat, a shirt, a jersey? This has way too much going on. Like, you look at all the other teams here, they're all very like vector-based looking logos and just very few layers. This, to me, the axes have too much on it. Phil is in chat. He actually likes this. He's from Chicago. Do the stars on this mean anything to Chicago? Is that on the Chicago flag? Do we know this information? Can I look this up? Okay.
It would have been nice if they gave a little history to this.
It
here.
is on the Chicago flag. All right. That's one point. I do like integrating city history with the flag. I don't know what Huntsman and Axes and Forests have to do with Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not a fan of it. I think it like the axes with the glossy coat that they tried to do on there, the way the handles have just a little bit too much texture. Like, I think a flat look might have been better, but I just don't understand like the symbolism to it. And like I said, there might be more to it that we don't know.
I'll read you a little blip here. So it says here, we are the Huntsmen. We are Chicago. We're always been on the hunt for glory, but to make it, we've had to out-hustle everyone. Everyone they had to out-hustle. Haven't played a game yet in the league, Anuj, but they had to out-hustle everyone. No rest, no days off. Always another mountain to climb. Like the land we come from, we are ready for anything. Rain, wind, sun, or snow. We've been through it all. The Huntsmen are more than just the biggest name in the game. The Huntsmen are tenacious. The Huntsmen are champions.
They should have been like the Chicago Southsiders or something and had like two Glocks pointing at each other. Like, that would have been cooler for me or something, like some symbolism to the city that it is right now.
Well, like Chicago Grizzlies, keeping with the bear theme.
What is the bear? Oh, yeah.
Bears and Cubs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm gonna go low on this one. Okay, we're probably gonna be somewhat close. I'm thinking, because there has to be E's and F's, right? Like, this can't be like we're gonna be all friendly and everyone's gonna be
of the mill.
D,
Yeah, we're not here to play favorites, okay?
This to me,
this is keeping it real. All right, again, NASA has reached out to us for this scientific study to figuring out how we come up with it to help their problem solving. All right, I'm not making that up. NASA, the U.S. government, they've reached out to us.
They want to know. And this, for me, Tim, falls into like an E or F tier. Like, it's got to go towards the bottom.
I'm going to say F.
Let's go F.
I think it's an F. You got the TCR curse involved. I think that played a big part in this. I think Hex felt a lot of pressure knowing that the curse was on. It's just weird, right? it's also like when you have so much, like, I want to know when Hex revealed this and every tweet was pretty much, this sucks. What do you think's going through his mind? Because he's coming from Optic, right? Like the most beloved fan. That dude could do no wrong to this fan base. And it's like the first time that I've seen anyone like go up and kind of, disagree with him.
He's obviously selling merch regardless. He
Of
put
course.
he showed a picture of a sweater with nothing on it, with a big question mark on it, and they sold out within seconds. So they're not going to have a problem selling merch. There's a lot of Hex love out there.
Well, I mean, Phil, he likes it. We have some other listeners and stuff that have reached
the
out and said,
stars on it could maybe bump it to an E later on down this list as we go.
like I said, I am a sucker for team or for city integration.
But for now, where we're at, F tier feels comfortable.
And it's also because, again, we are walking away with one in F and one in S. Like, I feel like that there has to be one of the best and one of the worst. So, all right. Number 3, our very own, it's our local team here, the Dallas Empire.
This is going to come off so biased.
It really will, and I kind of don't like that.
Yeah, like it's really unfortunate that our home team came up in my mind with the badass logo. Like,
yeah, because it doesn't look good for us, right? And especially because, like, we kind of notoriously, or at least I do, just kind of shit on Optic and Hex just for fun. And yet they also come out with the worst logo. So, like, it really doesn't look good. It looks like we're being biased. But the Dallas Empire, of course, owned by Mike Ruffell, parent company, Team Envy. I guess now they just go by Envy Gaming. When this was first revealed, I won't lie, I really hated it. I still don't love the name Empire. Like, for me, that just screams New York.
That's
right?
true, it does.
Being from Dallas or living in Dallas, I've never once thought Empire, right? Like, you just, Empire, that goes with New York. Empire State Building, Empire State of Mind, or, that's the saying, right? So that's kind of how I always think of it. I didn't really get the logo at first, but when I realized that they have the hidden NV in the logo, in the crown, I really fell in love with the look of it. I love that integration that's not obvious, kind of like how, like FaZe did, but it was just obvious, right?
This the Lone Star State, they have the star on there.
Yep.
For me, it wins on originality. I think it hits the feels, like you said, with the NV logo being integrated into it. I think it looks good on merch. And then when you kind of read what you're showing here on screen, but like the reasoning behind it, building an empire and all this, like it makes a little bit more sense why they went with the name.
I mean, that's where, Mike Ruffell, he kind of started, right? Like a player turned owner, and now has like one of the more successful, like top 5, top 10 most valuable orgs. Yeah. Now, I can't, my brain at the moment cannot wrap around the Empire part being with Dallas. For me, this would be an A tier because of that right now. I know you're thinking S tier, correct?
In my head, yeah, I am.
Okay. We will put it at S tier because without talking about all the other logos and the brands, I do think it's the better one. Like, I don't like the name, but the branding, the color scheme, I really, really do love it. It looks clean as hell. So we'll stick Dallas up on the S tier then. For now.
You're trying out pretty hard right now.
Ooh. Let's switch to Central here, as Discord is not liking South. Is that working now?
Yeah, I'm on Central.
All right. Discord South is always good for nothing. All right. So, next on the list, Florida Mutineers. Another team where before they released the color scheme and the logo, I wasn't a fan of the name. but I kind of grew to really love it. I'm not going to lie. Like when they first revealed the color scheme and the logo, the Davy Jones looking, Cthulhu looking mascot thing, I really, really do like this. It's very Florida to me.
I like it. I don't love it. I like the color scheme is not bad to me.
It's
I
unique.
keep thinking too much of Pirates of the Caribbean when I see it. Like that's the first thing that I thought of when I saw this was, Pirates of the Caribbean. It looks like the guy from there. Like it almost looks like an exact image of it, but it
Right.
makes sense, right? Like it makes sense to the location, the colors. Again, vibe with the area. I feel like it's not a bad look. But would I wear a hat with that on there? Like, personally, me, no. I think it looks a little like kitty, I guess if that makes sense, if that's the right word, like a little childish look to it.
Right. Right.
But I do think it's like it has a clean look. Um, I think we're gonna be a little different here. Like I
Right.
like it. I don't love it.
For me, I would personally put it as an A tier. For me, like I said, I love the look. Being from or not, I'm not from Florida, but I have a lot of family members in Florida. I go there a couple times a year, hang out at the beach, everything. Like I said, this to me screams Florida. I think people from Florida are going to absolutely jump on board with like that pirate oceany theme. Like I said, the colors, you could get a really nice kick-ass Hawaiian shirt with that color. Like, and like I said, I think that's how they'll live it up, right? The Florida Mayhem do it very well. I believe this is even owned by that same ownership group. So, I would put it at an A tier personally for me.
If I told you where I'm at, I'm at a C tier on it because I do
C.
like the phase. Yeah, I like the phase logo better than I like the Mutineers logo.
All right. So if we're at A,
it-
I'm at A, you're at C. Can we agree
We-
for B?
We can agree for B.
All
I
right.
think that's fair. I
All
think
right.
that's fair.
All right, we will put it at B. Let's see, but even then, like I look at it next to the phase, and I do think it's cooler than the phase. But
Which one would you rather wear on merch? Looking at both of them.
well, I would fear that someone would call 911 on a hate crime if I was wearing the phase logo. Like phase needs to just make a sweater, a black shirt with a red armband with that logo on it, and walk around, and then tell me people don't think you're a Nazi.
But that would match the swastika tattoo on your lower back.
That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna say, dude, that doesn't look like a Nazi thing, okay, put it on an armband then. Let me know how it goes for you. If you really think it doesn't, do that for me. All right, next on the list here, the London Royal Ravens. This was the first team to reveal their logo, if I'm not mistaken.
It was the
Little-
first mistake.
Little bit about said logo. The London Royal Ravens represent England. Our managing director, Michael Odell, is a veteran in the esports world. I don't care. In our region is known for their pride and their extreme enthusiasm of Call of Duty game franchise esports industry. Whoa, that's a mouthful. Okay, just tell me about the logo. Our team is hungry and passionate. I don't care. The idea behind our name, the London Royal Ravens, stem from the legend of the Tower Ravens. Okay, I knew that. I knew London they had those ravens. It has been said that Kingdom of the Tower of London will fall if the 6 resident ravens ever leave the fortress. We have 7 ravens at the tower today. The required 6 and 1 to spare. Additionally, Charles II is thought to have been the first to insist that the ravens of the towers are to be protected. Our team represents the Guardians of London. We look forward to protecting their crown. So with that being said, what do you think?
Color scheme.
I don't.
Okay, the color scheme. Are we going with this like it's this blue color, right? Like it's not the black and red that we see right there.
If you go on their Twitter, which I'm on right now, I think it's black, blue, red, and white. Like I think they're giving themselves some options here. Like on their website, it's black and
I
we're
think for
at.
the sake of the tier list, we should go off of the logo that we're showing on the tier list. I think that would be the fair way to do
So
it.
this is black and red, right? Well, see, look,
No,
because look,
no,
but look,
go to the tier list. It's the blue and red,
okay, and that's what's on their official website too. I mean, these pictures are right from their website, blue and red.
but we have that one. That's
Yeah.
what I'm looking at.
All right, let's go off of this one. This one's on their Call of Duty's website, so we'll go off of that.
It's to me, it looks like a really simple like image where if I was doing a generator and trying to like pick and match, hey, you could take this symbol and this
Like
outline.
they
Like it's
straight up got
really
this off of Madden Create a Team.
yeah, like it's really really basic to me. The Royal Ravens also doesn't have
Could
like
they
a
have done
great
Ravens?
tune.
London Ravens would have sounded
I
better.
kind of like that better. Like I get it, you want to put the royal in there. It also ties and brings the London theme together. Um, but not a big fan. Like I just think it's really basic. Like yeah, it could look okay on merch. Like it's not gonna be the worst looking logo. I don't think it's the worst logo out of all of them, but I do put it on the bottom half. Like to me, this is falling into that DE category, and I would feel pretty confident in thinking that that will shift a lot after we go through them.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in E then for you, right? Can we say E?
Yeah, I would
I
feel
don't.
pretty
I'm
comfortable
not in
with it
love
being
with
E.
the color scheme. I'm not in love with the name. I'm not in love with the logo. It just fell
But it's
short.
better than Huntsman.
I wanted more,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
agree.
not ugly, right? Like Huntsman is ugly. London's not ugly. It's just
It's funny because the Envy logo, Empire logo, would have looked pretty cool for the London team, and the
yeah.
Empire name would have been great for the New
London
York
Empire.
team.
That sounds really cool.
Well, like they could like London with because the Envy logo to me looks like a crown, right?
Yeah.
You think of the crown, obviously London comes to mind.
Yep.
So it's like Envy kind of picks some of the best stuff from the other locations. And was like, let's just make ours
Like a
badass.
New York team, a
Um,
London logo. But
so
it works.
yeah, the London Royal Ravens doesn't sound, it doesn't sound threatening enough to
Yeah.
me.
No,
It's
not
like too playful. I think it's too basic, and so for that reason, I feel pretty comfortable with that being an E.
all right. So we have them at E tier. So moving on here, I think this was actually the first team now that I see it, or at least leaked. Los Angeles, the first Los Angeles team on the list. It is the LA Gorillas, not like the monkey, but the people who fight. I guess that would be the other
Guerrilla
definition.
warfare.
Yeah, guerrilla
Yeah.
warfare. There we go. So this is owned by the same group as the LA Guardians from the Overwatch League. So I like the fact that they kept the color scheme, right? I like when the same ownership group carries over the color scheme, or when the city kind of attaches to a color scheme. Think like Pittsburgh. All their teams are black and yellow. Love that. I like that Los Angeles is keeping with that color here. So that's a point. I don't hate the name. I do think like between like LA and Gorillas, I don't know why, but maybe it's like with the LAPD corruption. I just think guerrilla warfare, right? All the
Educate me
fighting
on
the street.
why they chose this.
All right, yeah. Let's not assume anything here. The team vibrant. Ooh, another one without explaining the logo. That's a hit. That's it. When you can't explain to me why you chose the logo, I'm questioning if you put any thought into it.
Well, so since they won't explain it, I'll tell you why I'm a little confused by it. The name doesn't bother me. The Los Angeles Guerrilla, sure, like guerrilla warfare, that sounds
Yep.
cool. But that's not the picture that comes to mind when I think of guerrilla warfare. I'm almost thinking like bandana guy, like
Yeah.
like
A
Rambo
Molotov
style.
somewhere.
Just something that's more like in the trenches, sneaking through. And I know this has like a hood on, but that's not what I think of when I think of guerrilla warfare, at least. And
Right.
so if that's what they were going with, I think they kind of missed the mark there.
Looks like
Again, the
Spider Gwen,
logos,
right? Like if you're familiar with, if you've seen like Into the Spider-Verse, looks like Gwen
yeah,
from there.
it does. It
Uh,
does.
kind of looks like a ninja at the same time.
It looks like I paid somebody on Fiverr like $50 to make me a stream logo. You know,
Also, their hashtag hoods up, hashtag hoods up. Not a fan.
yeah, that could also have different connotations. And the white supremacy thing seems to be a theme here. It looks like.
Yeah, it just doesn't sound cool. Like hoods up. Like it sounds a bit edgelord to me. Like you're trying to be edgy.
And what does guerrilla warfare have to do with Los Angeles?
Did like they have riots? Did Los Angeles have riots?
They did. The huge LA riots back in the Rodney King days and all
but
that.
But that's not something you
not
would
Rodney
name your
King,
team after.
No, but yeah, the LA riots were like some of the most popular, famous.
But you're not naming your team out of a race riot. Could you
I would hope not. That's where they got the name. Again,
that'd be terrible.
I find this to be on the lower end. Like it's not that appealing to me. I actually, you will kind of see this theme from the LA side of things here, but this falls into a DE category for me. Again, I would put this on the lower end.
Yep. Now this might be our first switch then. So if this is going to be an E, because I do think it falls in E, right?
Okay.
I would think then London bumps up to a D.
You like London's like enough to give it a slot over it?
Because London is carrying over historical factors like Royal Ravens.
Okay, so there's a story behind the logo.
Because there's a story behind their logo and why they have it. It's meaningful to the city. I can get behind it.
Okay, I can go with that. I can respect that. At least give me a story on why your logo sucks. I appreciate that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right now, both of the lower tier ones don't have stories. Those were the two so far that have had no reason on why they chose the logo that they have. So that's an issue. That's an issue. Up next, Minnesota Rocker? Have we ever learned how to say this?
No, we're probably butchering this, but we can go with Rocker.
Rocker? I won't lie to you. When I first saw it, I absolutely 100% hated it. I thought they were trying to be gamer. I thought they were trying to be edgy and funny and like, look, let's put 2 Ks in it and put a slash through the O, and isn't that so gamer elite? And then I was proven that I was an idiot and 100% American as I realized, oh, that's just like a different language. So, or something, right? Dialect. So this is the story behind it, and it's definitely something that we need to read because without it, you can't really judge the brand properly. In Old Norse dialects, Rocker translates as twilight, the moment between day and night when the last light fades. Rocker is commonly associated with Ragnarocker, or as we know it as Ragnarok, the end of the world or twilight of the gods in Norse mythology. Now, on top of that, you do have also the Minnesota Vikings. Like, for whatever reason, that city has really adopted that Viking Norse background. It could be because it's like negative 100 degrees in the winter, so they just feel Viking-esque. I don't know. But they kept the purple for that. Again, that city branding. I think their logo is pretty badass. Like, that
I like it.
Good on merch.
Yeah.
I love the background story behind it.
And you see the dark to light transition that they kind of did there with the logo.
Yep.
The story is great. The name is cool, right? Like if it was just for gamer reasons, I would
hate it.
Like, oh man, they're trying to be like that group. But now you understand, the mythology behind it and why they went the way that they did. So this gets like several bonus points for me.
Right.
I definitely think this is S to A tier worthy.
I think it would be S. So I had it at S tier. This was an S tier logo for me.
Okay.
So we will put it up right with Dallas then as far as being S tier. Because like I said, they hit when you are trying to design a team, I feel like they hit every point. They have relationship to the city, teams that have already been there, a badass logo, a nice color scheme, a cool story behind it.
It all
Knocked it out of
feels
the park.
fitting. Like it works. Yeah, it just
Yeah.
really works there.
Really, really good on Minnesota's part. Now, up next, the New York Subliners. Now, this one I've been getting mixed thoughts on because I think the name is awful. To me, Subliners, I get it. Subway, Subline, whatever. To me, though, it almost sounds like it's too easy to make fun of and kind of have like negative connotation. Like it almost sounds like you're sublining it, like you are flatlining. To me, that's what it sounds like. I don't know if a subliner is an actual word or did they make it up.
I'm assuming you're doing the looking up here.
Oh, I'm
for us
looking it
here.
up. I'm doing the research. Subliner dry. What if I just do define subliner? Yeah, no, it looks like they definitely made it up. So that's all already. I don't like it then. You're making
Yeah.
up words to call yourself from a New York City team, subliners, because you use a subway. I don't know.
At least there's a relation there, though, right? There's like something tying it to the city.
Yeah, it says here.
It's not.
Subliners and underground movement. Subliners is born from the grit and chaos of the underground. Why are all of these like paragraphs so cheesy? There's no way the teams actually wrote these.
Like our city, our team is built from the ground up to the movement that challenges.
Inspired by the dazzle
mainstream.
camouflage on warships, our logo draws from the bold, contrasting colors and lines that intersect each other. Being visually loud draws more attention than it deflects, but at high speeds, it disorients opponents. Grounding the logo is a sensational wordmark in urban, blah, 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 from war zones to construction zones. Our team colors featuring dominant yellow that can't be missed and acts as both warning and invitation. I don't know, dude. I'm not buying it. Like, I am not a fan. I'm not a fan of the name. I'm not a fan of the logo. It's funny because it's like the NYXL in the Overwatch League. Like, their logo is pretty much theirs, but a circle. I don't get their logo. I don't get this logo. I don't know if it's something like with New York that I'm missing that just likes lines. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm there with you for the most part. Like, I don't think the logo is like horrendous. I don't think it's great, but like, it's again, I've seen worse. It's not basic. At least they kind of had some thought in what they did. Whether we agree with the reasoning or not, it's a different story. The subliner name, again, at least to me, it's tied to the city in some way. They probably wanted Empire and were like, Mike, come on, dude. Like
Mike
that's
filed
ours.
that
Like,
up right
please,
away.
please let's have Empire. And he was like, no. So they went with the next best thing in their mind, which was Subliner. But oh no, I don't know. I'm thinking on this one. You have it around that C marker.
I would put it C. For me.
I'll be comfortable with C. I'll be comfortable with C.
Because
I like it better than Royal Ravens.
It's
so,
more original than Royal Ravens. Like, even the logo, like we said, like,
yeah.
although it is just circle with lines, I do feel like it was at least an original circle with lines.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like a clip art Raven that you did red. All right, so we'll put them at C. Moving up here is the second Los Angeles team, also known as Optic Gaming Los Angeles. Flipped it around, so you have that right there that stands out to you. Kind of did a soccer move there, right? So you have Optic Gaming Los Angeles. Of course, Optic Gaming, everyone knows, they're the only true brand that is carrying over from the CWL days of past. This one's interesting because there's not really much to talk about with the branding. Everyone knows Optic. Everyone knows the history behind it. It really just comes down to, for me, comparing it to the other logos. Where does it sit? Because I'm going to say I will penalize them for having no originality. They didn't even throw an LA in it at all. Kind of like Atlanta Fades at least threw an A in there, right? They literally just took what they had and said, this is good.
I have never liked the Optic Gaming logo. So I don't hate on Optic the way you do. I think everybody knows that. All of our listeners that have actively listened to this show know that I don't have this pure hatred towards Optic, but I'm all about the TCR curse. They deserve all the stuff that we've thrown on them. It had to happen. Like
So
it was
F
meant to
tier.
be. Yeah, this is going F tier for me. It really is. I'm not even joking. That's the sad part. It's not original. I wanted to see originality with all the other logos, and I saw it to some extent. I don't like Optic's colors. Like that green to me is an ugly color. And I never liked their logo. And again, it's not a hate towards Optic. Like it's really not. I just don't like it. Like I think it's like it was never my thing. And so originality, none. Logo originality, none. So now we have no name originality. We have no logo originality. I already didn't like the logo and I already didn't like the colors. So
I
and it's
like,
not even Hex's Optic.
and like I
So
said,
it's
I
like,
like what they've built, like Green Wall, right? I love the fact that they have the Green Wall and the Green Wall Army or whatever.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I like that. I like the fan base and everything. But again, this is an interesting one because I don't want to give them credit for that, right? It's kind of like, no, this is looking at the branding for the Call of Duty League.
and this has
You
nothing to
didn't
do
do
with what
much.
they've built, right? This is not what this tier list is. This tier list is just about the branding. And they didn't come up with the branding. It's just a carryover. It's
And
not
also,
original.
when most of your fan bases has turned on that branding, you really probably should. I'm not saying rebrand. Obviously, you paid the money to keep Optic Gaming.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because they were like, look, all these people have merch and they're sticking around with it. I would love the percentage of Optic Gaming LA fans who were Optic fans before and stuck with them and are not moving over to Chicago. Because I know that's the issue. Is like a lot of people are like, well, I'm also going to be a Chicago fan and an Optic fan. I'm like, yeah, you can't really do that though. Like you gotta pick one. If you were an Optic fan before, like you gotta pick. Are you gonna support Hex in Chicago, or are you gonna be, you know, no pun intended, OG and stick with the OGs? Like, are you gonna
I
stick
think
with
majority
Optic?
of the people went over the Huntsman because they took Scump with them. You know, Scump is COD Optic, right? Like that's the
Right.
name associated with it. Um, I just man, no. This is not about what they've built. This is about what they are right now.
Yep.
It's not flashy.
Realistically,
doesn't
for
look
me,
good.
I would say they're probably like an E or a D because of, like I said, I like the fact that they have that. They're more than just the logo. They've built all this other stuff, but definitely the TCR curse comes into play, and
It does.
definitely the public perception of them comes into play. And the fact that you did nothing to try to spice up your logo to help differentiate yourself and just not trying to be like, yeah, we just bought this team and suck it. That's kind of where it falls flat for me.
The only winners in this are people that live in LA that stuck with Optic after the transition that already had a lot of merch.
Those
the
people are
winner.
like, thank God this
Thank
worked
you.
out great. And then for all those people who live in Chicago and who are huge Optic fans are like, God damn it. Like, this sucks. Oh, we already did Optic. Paris Legion. Now this one's funny because to me it immediately looks like New Orleans, but I knew New Orleans also looks like Paris because the whole French thing that they're stealing.
Mm-hmm.
So I won't bash them for that. New Orleans stole it from them. Look at that. See, even our listener Phil, who lives in Chicago, says he has 2 Optic jerseys. You know what would be a really cool promotion is if the Chicago Huntsmen did a trade in your jersey. You
That would be awesome.
trade in your Optic jersey to get a Chicago promotion. Hex, I know you're a big fan of the show. You could take that. You don't have to give me credit. All right. So looking at the Paris Legion, obviously they have is it a Florida Lee? That's what
I'm
that's
going to go
called.
with what you said. I know what you're saying. I think that's close enough. It's understandable.
So another one without a description. Optic did not have a description for their branding either. Paris is the cradle of so many historical movements and human adventurers, is now home to the Paris Legion. Defenders of liberty and innovation have always found refuge in Paris. We'll be worthy of our city's tradition. I don't care. Under the banner of Paris, we welcome. Blah blah blah. Nothing about the logo. Where is it? The color scheme works for me. I like it. It's different.
I like it too. Yeah,
you
the color looks nice. I actually don't mind the name. I think Paris Legion sounds pretty cool. Like
Paris
it's-
Legion sounds badass.
yeah, like doesn't have a bad ring to it at all. I think the logo is okay. Like I'm not in love with the logo,
It's
but
not
I get it.
original. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
original.
not original.
This
but
is
I
this
get
is
it.
this is what you would see from a New Orleans team, from any other Paris team. And I think it's also like comparing it to the other Paris team for Paris Eternal in the Call of Duty League or the Overwatch League. Like I love their logo. I love their look. Similar color schemes a little bit. But I felt like that was really good. The logo is just kind of it's generic. It's safe. I would also put this at a C tier.
Let me see our tier list real quick. Take me
All
back
right.
to it here.
All right, we're taking it back here. So far, for an update, just for you following on the podcast, S tier, Dallas Empire, Minnesota Rocker. B tier, no one in the A tier yet. B tier, Atlanta FaZe, Florida Mutineers. C, New York, maybe Paris Legion. D, London Royal Ravens. E, LA Gorillas. And F tier with Chicago and Optic.
See, Paris Legion for me, because I like the name.
The name is
I
really
really
cool.
like the name. I like the color scheme. I think it
I do
has
like the color
kind of a
scheme.
unique color scheme.
Maybe I'm
I
judging
can't put
too
it on the
harsh.
same line as subliners because there was a lot of that I
Yeah, that's true.
didn't
You're right. You're
love,
right.
you
Because I
know?
don't like the name, and I'm not in love with the. Yeah.
we gave subliners points for originality, not because we love the name
Yeah,
subliners,
yeah.
right? So here's what I'm thinking, Tim. I think
Dude,
we might have to make a little bit of a move here, you know?
Okay. Okay.
I got this in the AB range for me.
You know, I think
Okay.
you just convinced me to put it in A.
I think that's where it belongs.
I think I
I
went
really
from a
do.
C to an A, just like that. I went from putting them to a C and an A, ladies and gentlemen. Unheard of. A 2-spot jump for the Paris Legion. Who would have saw that coming?
And you know
But-
what? I didn't think I had him as A tier before the show. You
I
know,
didn't
was looking
know.
through all of these, and I was like, "Where do I got them?" Like, oh yeah, I kind of like it, you know. But
Yep.
now,
Now, for the
getting to
record,
talk
I did
through
also
each
have
of 'em-
I did have Florida in A, but with a Nuge. Or actually, I had them in S. You had them. No, I had them at A. You had them at C, so we settled for B.
we agreed on B, and that's kind of the
Yeah.
same thing that I think that happened to FaZe is. But now I'm looking at FaZe, I'm like, I kind of like, you know, Paris had a little bit more originality, so I would
Right.
give
Yeah, see, like
Paris
for
A
me,
and leave
I would
FaZe
still
there.
put FaZe in C. For me, I would still put, looking at this, for me personally, I would still put them at C. Their logo just doesn't do anything for me. But we'll leave them there for now.
I like how this looks right now. To me, this looks right.
It looks
the way
like
we have
a
it.
good tier list so far. All spots have been filled out too. Paris filled in the last empty one. All right, let's get over here to Seattle Surge. I think this was the last team to be revealed, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. If they have no description either, so that means it's just a cheesy 2-paragraph. An imposing force rising from the sea with constant sweeping power, forging a path of victory. These are awful Call of Duty.
But this is a trident, so that makes sense, right? Because you think of like
I get it. I'm just saying the description is
yeah, the description. is
this
awful.
to me screams Seattle. The Seattle
It does.
Mariners. They really, if they would have really wanted to win me over, is to make his eyes the neon green like the Seahawks have it, right? To really keep that color scheme. But I do still think this fits the Seattle colors, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
This still looks very Seattle to me. I love the fact that it's a trident, but also maybe a crown, right? Like, are those eyes? Are we looking at eyes? Are we looking at a trident?
Yeah, I think there are eyes at the bottom there, but I'm looking at a trident. Like I see this and I see a trident, and it just kind of fits, right?
if
like
we,
I don't.
if we ever get to the part where teams could have like actual costume mascots, this could look really badass if you want to give them a face and stuff to go over.
If this was for any other city, like if there was another city that used this logo, I wouldn't like it nearly as much. I think it's just fitting for the city. The color scheme, like you said, kind of matches all the other Seattle-based teams' color scheme. Um, Originality is there. Man, I mean, to me,
Surge,
this falls into the B category. Personally, again, I like it better than subliners. So either subliners needs to get knocked down a notch, or this is a
see, I
BA
like it more than
category.
Paris Legion, though. Are you saying you like Paris way more than Seattle?
I would put them both A. I think it has enough originality.
I would put
I'm not a big fan. So the Surge, it's not a bad name.
Seattle
you know?
Surge. No. Reminds me of a pop. Wasn't a pop named Surge?
Yeah, Surge was great. It was like green.
Oh,
Pelican,
bro, I
drink,
had
that was-
it the other day. At DreamHack, we went to a bar and it had Surge. I was like, bro, give me the Surge. It was not as good as you remember. It was
No, it was like something you drank when you were like
disgusting.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
It's
enough
supposed to
there
kill
for
you.
me to get behind this logo. I like it. I don't love it, but there's enough there for me to give it like
I
a
like
good rating because they put some originality, some thought. They took the city into account. So I think A is a fair rating for what they put into it.
So right now we have that over. So let's kind of do this. We have it over because I feel like we're kind of on the fence on where it belongs. We have it on the same tier as Paris and above FaZe and Florida.
Yeah. I like it better than Florida's logo. Again,
Really?
Florida's logo to me looks a little like kiddish and I can't get over it. Like I keep seeing Pirates of the Caribbean every time I see it and it just
I definitely think that was an inspiration
and
for it,
I wouldn't
But then again,
rock it.
Florida
like, I would
has
not
Disney.
wear it.
right?
Yeah.
Like
So is
Florida,
California.
Disney, like if there's a state to rock Pirates of the Caribbean,
We went on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride in
that's right.
California together, you know?
Yep.
No, I
Like-
just wouldn't wear the Mutineers logo on any merch. That's my problem with it. I think it's original. I think the color scheme is good. I just wouldn't wear it. Like it
Right.
doesn't look
It would be interesting
Cool.
after this comes out, like Florida Mutineer. Like if they have, I don't think they've released any pictures of merch or anything like that, but their hashtag is Fear the Deep. Does that do anything for you?
sure.
Florida Fear the Deep. Like look at here, like see like that, like how that's what I like about Florida is that they are completely jumping on board with the branding of the deep and pirates and this mythical creature that lives underneath. And
I can tell you want to knock this up a tier.
I do want to knock it up. I think it's better than Paris. It gives me better feeling when I close just close your eyes, Anuj. Close your eyes with me. Are you closing your eyes?
They're closed.
Tell me what you see.
A B.
A B. Where are they at right now?
Okay, but but I see
They
where
are-
you're coming from, Tim. I do see where you're coming from. If they release some cool merch without the logo on it,
just no, just release merch. No logo though.
no logo. Like, if they went with like a shirt with like the one that you showed with like the octopus, see that looks badass.
That
That
gun,
gun camo.
right?
That gun camo.
Like
Pull that
here's
up, Tim. Let me see that gun camo real quick.
Let's do
Can you full screen that for me?
I
Yeah.
full screen it. So this is we're looking at right now. It's like a gun it's the M4. Some dude created a skin for this gun.
That's clean.
It does, and look at the color scheme, the blue and orange.
Yeah.
It looks good to me. I really think we're not doing it justice by being a B tier with Nazi
Okay.
phase.
Does this stack our A tier too heavily by doing this?
I
I think
think
if we do this,
if we do
this
this,
is what would need to happen.
Paris goes to B.
I think so. I do think so. I think Paris would have to go to B if Florida went to A.
All right. That's what I think. Because again, the logo for Paris is just you have a cool name and a good color scheme. But the
Yeah.
logo is just so generic French. It hurts. It hurts me. It's
No,
so
that's
generic.
fine. I can live with this. I can live with this movement here.
So last but certainly not least, Toronto Ultra.
Explanation needed.
A lot of explanation needed. Right away though, their colors pop. They
do pop.
purple and white, and it's not like a deep purple. It is a purple that pops. All right. So when thinking through, I don't care. Okay, here we go. Because again, their logo. At first, I didn't understand what their logo was. I mean, obviously, it's supposed to be a U, but I was like, all right, it's a goofy looking U. And I started seeing people with squirrels. So
Yeah,
this
it's
is
got the
it.
squirrel on the right side.
Well, it's like and then the tail, right? So it's like
Yeah,
a squirrel popping up, like, oh, what's going on, right? So when we were thinking through what to call ourselves, our minds traveled through a galaxy of possibilities: animals, historical connections, tough guy references, and even deep sounding monikers. But in the end, we felt that we were trying too hard. We're Ultra, and like Toronto, we love what we mean. We love that what we mean is whatever you represent. What? We're Ultra, and like Toronto, we love that what we mean is whatever you represent. So whatever you represent, they mean it. That's kind of a catch-all there, okay? Proud, humble, smooth, whatever you are. Ultra is just the beginning of it. I like how it's like they're not really committing to anything. It's just whatever you represent and whatever you are.
Choose what our name means to you. That's what we are.
We're Ultra, baby. We're Ultra. But what does that mean? It means what you mean.
What the hell does ultra mean?
I don't know. It means what you represent. Whatever you want to be, Anuj, is what Ultra is.
Is what we are. Okay.
Our logo is a representation of just that. We're bringing Bellwood's white squirrel to the world's view. To us, it's a show of our city's character, a symbol that even the smallest parts, what make us who we are worth celebrating. So for those who don't know, because that doesn't necessarily explain it, Bellwood's white squirrel. Bellwood's, I believe, is a part of Toronto. And they actually do have native white squirrels there. They're kind of rare. It's kind of like a good luck charm there. They really do like squirrels there. So it does tick the box off of, city, tying it to your city. And I love the fact that like they own it, right? It's like, hell yeah, bro, it's a squirrel. So that's cool. They really, I feel like the Ultra name is almost like an inside joke. Like it's a meme. Like they were like, guys, let's name it Ultra. Why? Why Ted? What does that mean? It means whatever you want it to mean. Like, no. But what are we going to tell people? It just means whatever you want it to mean. It's Ultra. Like, okay, let's do it. Their colors pop. I like it. I like their color scheme.
I'll give them a good grade on the color scheme. It does pop.
Their hashtag is so Ultra, and so has 2 O's. So is that another reference I'm missing?
I have a little bit more insight here if you would like me to read this.
They
I'm getting a little
retweeted
bit
a
more.
shirt with someone saying Ultra as fuck. I do like that they embrace that. All right. And what were you saying? You have
So
some
this is
insight?
Overactive Media, right? Like that's who owns Toronto Ultra.
Correct. Yeah.
Chris Overholt is the CEO. So he got asked, why did you decide upon Toronto Ultra as a franchise's name? We went through quite a process, yada, yada, yada. He goes, I think we were one of the first, if not the first, to signal to Activision Blizzard that we were interested in being a franchise holder. We had time to be thoughtful this time around. We've had time to be engaged and to really think hard on what we wanted for our fans. There's a lot of seriousness to this title in particular. But what our fans told us consistently is that this is what they want to do for fun. So as a brand, we thought we would try to land on what we would try to land on is nicely. So I think from what you'll see starting tonight, this explains nothing. This is going F tier right now based on the CEO's explanation to me. I'm reading this
Again,
and
it's
there's
because I
no
don't even
logic.
think I don't think they know why they picked Ultra. It's just
I
because it's Ultra. Like I think
I
they just
really
did it
thought I
because they
was
could.
gonna see an explanation here
No, I think they did it just
because
for the
they
sole
asked him
purpose of being like,
directly.
we're Ultra. Like, dude, this is Ultra cool. Like, you know that's
Pull
going
up
to
the
be a
tier
beat
list.
down.
Let me see where this has to go. I need
Now,
to look at
again,
where other ones are at.
their logo is Ultra, but in the back, you can't really see it. Let me zoom in here. Okay? That is a squirrel. It's like a what? You see the tail on the left, the head is over there, peeking over. It makes a U. The logo to me is very clean and original. My hang up here is at the end of the day, it is a squirrel. And I know some people from Toronto, they probably just love that idea. Like they're just weird people, so they probably did it. I would say this would instantly be an S tier for me, Anuj, if their hashtag was go nuts.
Hey, we could start that.
That would have been S tier quality branding.
I think they'll have cool merch.
Yep. It looks like they're having fun.
The logo I don't mind because it has some significance to it. The name I have more of the issue with because it means absolutely nothing. Like it's just a blind name.
Literally, they
But-
just picked it.
But I'm gonna give them bonus points with the squirrel not popping too much.
It's very subtle. That would look
I'm-
really good on a hat.
I'm
Or
gonna
shirt.
go B tier for them, Tim.
All right. I'm with you. I'm with you. And you know what's funny is I was really preparing to make fun of them. Like I was really preparing to make fun that you have a squirrel as your logo.
I think we can still make fun of them. This doesn't mean that they're perfect, but they saved face with the
The
U
logo.
within the squirrel. The logo isn't terrible. The color scheme is nice. The name is jank, but everything else kind of fits. And so for that reason, we'll put them at B with kind of the rest of the we're just good enough crowd. And so
Yeah.
I think really anything under B, I'm not wearing that merch. I'm not gonna lie. But B and up,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
rock
that's
some of
probably
it.
a fair estimate. Like being up, you're going to make some pretty badass merch. C and below, you got some work to do.
I'll tell you, all of these guys' saving grace is that actually I don't know if it's been announced, so
Yeah.
never mind.
Yeah, no. It's they got
Never
some
mind. I don't
work to
wanna
do.
say it and get in trouble.
C, D, E, and F have some work to do on their merch. They really
We
gotta
know the
pull
company
ahead.
that's going to be making their branding or like the clothing for a lot of these, like for all of these companies, actually. So, but again, I don't know if there's been an official announcement,
No,
so I don't want to
no,
throw
there
it out
definitely has
there.
not.
But I do know that all of these have the potential to be fire based on the company that they're working with. So,
Except
up-
for Chicago Huntsman. Like that's
except
just
for-
gonna be ugly. No matter
F
what.
tier is not being worn regardless, unless you're sending us free merch. Then okay, sure, might put it on from time to time. But
Phil does say in the chat that Toronto reminds him of the defunct Titans logo. So Titan Esports.
very true.
It does.
Which is one of the most popular Counter-Strike stickers to date. I mean, it's like
I still have one
that
too. I think it's like
sticker-
worth like $40.
yeah.
So there it
I
goes.
see that.
There
I like that.
there is your tier list. Well, hold on. Let me back up. Anuj, look at the tier list. We have, starting at the bottom, F tier, Chicago and Optic. Really, Chicago's is there just because it's too much. I mean, even looking at all these, you look at Chicago, it really does stand out. Like,
It does.
as like what too much is going on here. Too much. It's just kind of ugly. Optic is down at the F tier for just being very unoriginal. You've already kind of destroyed your brand before the league even started with the way it was just handled before. Some doing of Hex, right? Like Hex kind of also sabotaged it all. Don't blame them, right?
Plus, you put the curse on it. We might have given them E.
Maybe
Yeah, but curse bumps you down to F in this case.
curse bumps you down. TCR curse. It's real. E tier, Los Angeles Gorillas, primarily because Gorillas doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and the logo is just doesn't scream threatening to me. So looks like Spider Gwen. D, London Royal Ravens. Yeah,
Which the more I look at it, there might not even deserve to be a D tier. Like I wouldn't even mind throwing them at E, but I can live with the decision here.
I wouldn't hate it either. Like if you want to throw it down to E and just say no one deserves D.
But we can leave it. It gives everybody a little category, and it
All right.
kind of has a clean look. So
we will leave it there
leave it.
because again, the reason we had it at D and the reason it's over Gorillas is because the Royal Ravens aspect.
There was some
Because
significance to
you
it.
took some significance from the city. You're at D, but the color scheme, the logo, ugh, don't like it. C, New York Subliners. Now the reason you're there, you've taken multiple things from the city, right? And you were original with it. You made it up. For better or for worse, you could, if you're gonna make up a name, it really needs to be badass. Subliners ain't one of them. So, but it's original, so we'll give you that. So I like that at C. This is where I think the most kind of discussion went. So at B tier, we're rocking Atlanta FaZe with their borderline Nazi logo from Castle Wolfenstein. Doesn't look like the actual Nazi logo, but
we do like the symmetry behind it. We like the FaZe integration, but yet adding on to it, so it's not just FaZe. Because again, if this was just FaZe's logo, this
F
would have
tier for
dropped
me.
a couple. Yeah, this would be falling
would
quite
be
a
F.
bit here.
If all you
so-
took was FaZe, insta F tier.
Yeah,
For the same
agreed.
thing of Optic. You didn't even try. But they did. So it's at B tier. Paris Legion. Love the color scheme. Love the name.
Badass name.
Badass
Yeah.
name. Logo though,
Lack of originality.
I wanted something more. I wanted
Yeah.
something more. But it's not a bad logo. Like the Ravens is a bad unoriginal logo. It's just they slapped it with red. Right? It's just one solid color, depending on which version you're looking at. Paris, they at least mixed it up a little bit. Toronto Ultra, maybe could have been higher.
Kind of
Maybe
growing on me, but
could've
I'm
been
comfortable with it here. I am
I
comfortable
like
with
it
here.
there. I like it there. Nice logo, very original. I don't hate the name. If they just want to be like the obnoxious memesters of the league here to have a good time, then we might bump this up later, depending on how they treat that brand. If you want to use it as that, great. But if you're trying to if you are trying to be threatening and be taken serious with a squirrel as your logo, that's where we have problems. That's where we might have issues. Then you have A tier, Seattle Surge, Florida Mutineers. Mutineers saved themselves. They used to be B. I fought for you, homies. So
they did. They did.
Hit me up, DMs. You can send me a shirt. I will rock your shirt on stream. So
I want that skin. That gun skin is really what elevated them. So I know that was probably fan created. Dude, you saved them. You saved them a
that
full
fan who
tier.
created the gun skin on Twitter.
Really, really put it on me there. And again, looking at their, their Twitter as Tim was kind of going through it and how they're embracing the darkness, the deep. I'll give it to them. And again, there's originality there. So happy with that. Both with the Surge and the Mutineers came through for their city, and brought a uniqueness to it, and that's why they are where they are.
Yep. Love it. And now the cream of the crop. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your S Tour. Leading the way, Dallas Empire. Of course, this is not favoritism. I got to stress it. I think unanimously across the board, you look online, everyone loves this brand. I love the color scheme, the black and gold. They look clean on merch. They've already shown some, just look so fresh. And even I actually love their secondary colors. The dark blue, like dark navy with the gold. Oh lordy. You give me merch with that. All right. I love that more than black and gold.
The only thing that almost would have hurt them a little bit was slightly the name until you get a little bit more appreciation of where he was kind of going with it.
Building an empire, entrepreneurship, and that's kind of what Dallas was also based off of, right? The oil industry and all that. Love, though. And honestly, this is what puts it up to the S tier for me, though, is the callback to Envy, right? It's not like FaZe. It's not like Optic where you just slap in your original logo. They could have easily have probably found a way to do that. But you throw in a hidden letters NV for your parent company, for the team that you once were. Absolutely love it. You have the star, which Dallas is suckers for stars. So it's just great. They
Just a winner.
They
Just a winner.
just ticked off every box. It also looks gangster, you know, like the black, just the merch, just that is going to be a killer look. And then alongside them for the S tier, Minnesota Rocker. Name
Again,
I mean, this went from an announcement like a D tier to an S tier.
the explanation worked. Now that I know why they used the lettering and the way they did it, it actually looks cool now.
It looks
this is the
badass
time
now.
around. The logo I think is sick. Like that is just a cool looking logo. Color scheme fits the city. The theme fits the city. They put thought into it, and I appreciate that. And so they deserve to be right up there with the Empire, with what they brought to the table. And Tim, I think we got ourselves a pretty legit
Bro.
list here. This is like a very
I am
solid tier list.
Very, very happy with it. And you know what's the
Yeah.
best part too? I look at like the S tier and I'm like, man, there's 2 on the S tier, but I really do feel the same way about both of them. Like I
Yeah.
love Minnesota's look. I think that merch is going to be badass. I love the fact that they use so much history behind it with the city and how they really thought through the naming and everything. It's not like we just threw 2 up there. And the same thing with the F tiers, right? It's not like we just, one is worse than the other. It's like I can make a justification on why both of them suck.
Agreed.
I think we did a really, really good job. And you know what? Hopefully our listeners agree, but if not, that's what the Discord is for. You go on our Discord. Let us know what you think. If you want, make your own tier list. Just Google Call of Duty League branding tier list. That's what I did. And you'll probably find the same thing I did. You know, let us know who's your S tier and who is your F tier, because that's really what I'm interested in,
Yeah.
right?
Who's
Like
the
the
best, who's the worst?
in-betweens, you can always debate and argue. Give me your best and worst branding. There could be more than one for each, but that's what I want to know. Give me the best and worst of your brands. But you know what? Congratulations, Dallas Empire and Minnesota Rocker. What a huge accomplishment for them to be S tier for the official center ring CDL branding tier list. Like, what an honor. Like,
And this obviously means they're going to meet each other head to head in the finals. That's what I get out of this.
100%.
This is supposed to be a branding tier list and have nothing to do with the teams. But now I've kind of shifted. I think this is also the balance of power within the league. And this is probably how it's going to finish out. So if you are betting with our code on Thrive, go ahead and bet on these 2 teams to win it all.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So there you have it. That was fun, man. All right.
That was.
Let's get back into the standard show here and do some e-news. Pull up my notes here. Got the tier list all going on here. Not a whole lot happened. Obviously, when we record a day late, it just happens to where you don't have as much
In between.
going on. Right. So, CSGO. Valve has prohibited single companies from owning multiple CSGO teams. I don't know why that took as long as it did for them to come up with this
Yeah.
rule, but all right. I saw this announced. Teams must announce any TOs, tournament organizers, that they are working with prior to events.
This is all stemming from the Astralis Blast Pro saga that we saw this year. I think Valve wants to avoid that type of controversy, especially when it comes to one of their best teams. So I think this is just good because now it'll be open. You'll know. It really shouldn't cause too many problems, but at least it's like open and it'll be information that we'll all have. And so,
Right.
Again, I don't think this affects the everyday viewer when it comes to Counter-Strike. But we can also see if there's any shadiness tied to how some of these
Right.
events
Just
are
being
run.
transparent,
Yeah.
right? It helps.
Yeah, exactly.
Android is unable to make the ESL Pro League America bracket there due to visa issues. So,
Isn't he?
or the EPL.
Where is this being held at? Do you
I
know where
thought
the American?
I
it was
thought
here.
LA.
His name is Bradley, isn't it?
Like, how did he have issues getting a
How
visa?
did?
Like, guys, his name is.
He might be
Brad.
Canadian. Like, what's going
Yeah,
on here?
I
We
believe he
can't
is
get.
Canadian.
That should not be difficult. That's really unfortunate for him because
Yep.
he's a good dude, and that sucks. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we also had the ECS groups revealed. This is coming up in just a few weeks here. It's on
We'll be
Thanksgiving
there.
weekend. We love that they do it on Thanksgiving weekend. I will not be there Thursday, Friday, but we'll be there on the weekend to support these teams. We have some of the best teams coming. They split it up, Tim. We got finally the best teams separated brackets here. So it's like a 2-2 split.
Hallelujah.
Group A, we got Evil Geniuses, Liquid, NIP, and Avangard. All teams, I believe, currently in the top 10. Group B, we have Astralis, Fnatic, MIBR, and those dangerous
Don't sleep
Brazilian
on the Sharks.
Don't
sleep on 'em.
Sharks.
That'll be exciting. We'll do a full preview for that
Yeah.
coming up here before the event. In League of Legends, rumors have it that Riot is creating a League of Legends World Cup.
That's pretty cool.
That
That could be good.
It could
yeah.
be good. However you want to go it. I almost wish they would do World Cups like the real World Cup, though. Not every 4 years, obviously, because a game could be dead by the second time you do it. But
Maybe every other.
yeah, like every year seems like a bit much, but we'll see. In other news, the Esports Awards are this Saturday in Arlington. Again, Anuj and I will be there. I asked about the dress code. They haven't emailed me back yet, so maybe we'll have to go rent some tuxes, when we accept our awards.
Why don't we just roll up in like shorts and like a tank?
What would they do? No, so I'm looking forward to it, We'll talk about it after, though. There's not really a point for us to do like a preview show for it. Complexity partners with Herman Miller, which is a very nice chair company.
It's like an ergonomic chair company. It's designed for comfort, and these gaming chairs that you see nowadays, including the ones that we have, are not really built for comfort. They were built for like more of a stylish racing look.
They
which
are
is what
comfortable, but they're not like Herman
Kinda
Miller.
comfortable.
Like
the more and more I use it, the more and more I'm like
you're still
not
having to like
on board.
stretch and like get up.
Like stiff, but yeah, Herman Miller coming into the gaming scene, I think that's cool. Complexity is like, man, on the business side, these guys are one step ahead. Now there looks like they might be catching up on the competition side too.
Soon enough.
We'll see with their new roster, but I think there's potential there now that they finalized it. But yeah, Herman Miller coming into the scene is not a bad thing for gamers. We should be happy about that.
And the Halo Twitch rivals were just yesterday. Team Fear Itself took first place. I watched a little bit of this. Man, it was really enjoyable just to watch Halo again, like with some of these names that, if you haven't been keeping up with it as much, or, just in general, like these are just classic names. But boy, the best part was watching Summit on his side of the stream, just raging. I've never seen him so tilted in my life. Like, I have clips
he
of
has
it.
some fair reason to be upset.
I will never judge someone for tilting, first of all. Like, I have been
Yeah.
there. Like, Anuj has played with me. I have sounded like Summit sounded last night.
But in general, I thought some of the things that he was upset about, for example, the aim assist being really strong on controller. I watched Hysteria stream. They were saying the exact same thing. He's using controller
Yeah.
because in a game where there's uncapped FPS, you are naturally going to have very strong aim assist. Well, they can't really do that unless they or fix that issue unless they cap the FPS. So a lot of people were using controllers because it was literally zipping onto heads,
Right.
And so
And Summit was using mouse and keyboard
that.
because he's like, that's
Yeah.
what I am. I'm a mouse and keyboard player. So he was just sticking true to his style. And some of the guys that, were playing, he's like, I know these guys are mouse and keyboard players. Like, they are not this good with a controller, but it's just that aim assist is so hard.
And I played it on mouse and keyboard. It definitely doesn't feel amazing on mouse and keyboard. I can see what he's talking about, where if there was like some slight aim assist, that would be a definite draw or an advantage. And so
I would love to tell you, but I haven't gotten into the beta yet. So
you can come over and play this weekend. I have it for another 5 days.
I have heard that, just on that note, is like if you tweak like your FOV and stuff, it really helps with mouse and keyboard,
Yeah.
just how it feels. But We'll see. I don't know. I'm still gonna play the hell out of it. Like, it's just Halo. Like, I can't say no, right?
No, it'll be fun.
All right. Well, that does it for e-news. Like I said, short and sweet. That does it for this episode of the Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast, episode 191. It's done. It's in the books. Thank you so much for listening. If you skipped around, listen to the whole thing. Love you all the same. We will be back Monday. We will tell our stories from the esports awards. Did we win? I mean, we're not nominated, so that'd be a pretty incredible story if we did. Everyone makes mistakes, though.
Count.
Everyone makes mistakes. All right. So if we weren't nominated, we'll just chalk it up to that. Well, so we'll talk about that, tell stories. Maybe we'll have something fun happen there. I don't know what else we'll talk about. Whatever happens over the weekend. It's esports, baby. There's always something. Always something going on in esports. Hit us up on Twitter, your tier list, your best, your worst for CDL branding. You can also do it in Discord and everything there. But that's next time. I'm Tim Farnood. We'll see ya.